as you start to re-regulate your nervous system and practice integration, that there is hope that arises from moments of wholeness and moments of safety.
Welcome to Boundless B, the Hemophilia B podcast, the podcast standing with you from a family like yours, presented by the Coalition for Hemophilia B and in partnership with Balancing Life's Issues. Today, I'm here with Dr. Shaleen Kendrick, an applied neuroscience expert, creator of the Neuro-Relational Integration model. And why are we here talking with you today? Well, this time of year brings joy, but also a lot of pressure. And for families living with Hemophilia B, the holidays can trigger deep emotional, physical, and logistical stress. So today, we're going to explore science-backed ways to calm the nervous system and stay prepared so you can navigate the holidays with more resilience and peace. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Kai.
Absolutely. So let's just start broad. Why do the holidays trigger such stress?
Oh gosh, there's a myriad of reasons, but let me back up really quick so I can give a little context here. So I apply neuroscience to help people access intelligences that they didn't even know they had. Meaning most of us were trained to think our way through everything, including the stress of the holidays and including the fear of the world that we now live in today. So my job is to help people access the wisdom that is in our body and our spirit, not just our mind, so that we can navigate our human experience, such as holiday stress. So, holiday stress, what it's happening and why it's happening. Listen, you all, it's hard to be human. And whenever humans get together in large groups of being human, it just gets harder. So a lot happens in the holiday. As Kai said, there's so much hope and shared tradition and co-regulating that happens in the holidays. And also, one of my favorite idioms is the root of all anger is unmet expectations, that a lot of us go into the holidays expecting them to be filled with just hope and beauty and joy. And while that is true, holidays are not separate from the human experience, which includes stress, relationship stress, physical stress. So mixed in with the hope and the joy is always going to be the pain and suffering and just hardness of being human.
Yeah.
A lot of it, honestly, is expectations. We want a break from the stress. And yet when we come in together for the holidays, we realize the human experience is still in the holidays as well. And the human experience still includes stress.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I always think about is like, oh, wow, coming up on a nice little break. And do you actually take a break during the holidays, right? And like
we
recharge
break.
the battery.
Yeah. And we want to break, we want to break from being human. And a break from humaning. And then we get into the holidays and we realize we still have to be human and do the peopling thing in the holidays.
Yeah. And on top of that, for the Hemophilia B community, it's not just the kind of shared stress of the holidays that can, bring for so many people. In addition, it's, medication storage, emergency treatment plans, maybe memories of a holiday that didn't go so well, or, of a loved one who's not here with us anymore. So I think what I want to do is taking all these stressors and these words and these triggering things that might happen during the holidays and talk to us about some practical tools that we can use to help regulate our nervous system at these times.
Yes. So friends, your body has a nervous system. It actually has 3, but we're going to just talk about the central nervous system today. So one of the things that we can do is to recognize the first step of managing honestly, stress and fear and anxiety is to first pause and become aware of your body being stressed and anxious and afraid. There's such incredible power in being awareness. So the first part of what we would call neuro-relational intelligence is to stop and to be aware of what's going on with your body. So once you start to realize, oh my gosh, my heart rate is up, I'm snapping at people, I'm moving around in a lot of fear, once you start noticing some of those reactive patterns kick in, and for all of us, our reactive patterns are different. Mine tend to be more aggressive, and my partners tend to be more withdrawing. So once you start to become aware of your reactive patterns, one of the first and honestly simplest things you can do is breathe. It's the face-heart connection. The scientific name is your ventral vagal brake, which is a fun name to say, but just stopping and taking a deep breath is going to help you calm your nervous system and help move you back into a place of rest, curiosity, and relaxation. Along with that, there are really beautiful grounding techniques that are easy to do. You can do them quickly, simply, with your children, with your family, with your partner, with your puppy. And the first one is just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just count backwards. And here's how this works. Just notice I'm stressed. I'm having sensory overload, whatever the stressor might be. Stop. And I just want you to look around and notice 5 things. So think about engaging your sight. You look at 5 things in your environment that when you're moving really quick and you're in a reactive state, you're not noticing. This is just simple mindfulness, being present. So notice 5 things and really look at them, like notice them. The next thing is maybe start to close your eyes and you start to listen to 4 sounds that you can hear and really hear them. Maybe it's a bird chirping. If you're really quiet, you can get in a place where maybe you can hear your heart actually beating. If you happen to be holding on to your child or in a embrace, a lot of times a ventral vagal embrace or a hug with deep pressure, you can start to just feel and hear the body of the person with you and next to you as you co-regulate. And then the 3 part is start to think of 3 things that you can smell. As funny as that sounds, can you smell your hair? Can you smell your clothes? What scent is in the air? What is it that your sensory of smell is picking up? And then the 2 things is touch. What are 2 things that you can touch and pay attention to, really noticing that touch is really soft or that's scratchy, but really focusing, bringing all of your mental attention on what you're touching helps slow your regulation basically, and it does slow your nervous system down. And then the last one is just taste. What's one thing you can taste? And maybe you just had coffee, maybe you're eating a cookie, maybe it's peppermint. By just noticing what you're sensing actually calms sensory overload, which is really helpful. And it's so simple and you can do it anywhere with anyone at any time.
I love that. And I just wanted to point out a couple things. One, that was about 2 minutes to 3 minutes of you taking us through that exercise. And imagine being able to step away from that moment that's triggering you for that amount of time. And imagine coming back to that place in a better state of mind, right? And the other thing I wanted to point out, maybe you could talk about a little bit, is what happens when we start bringing this sense of calm and peace to triggering moments in the future, right? Because it's a practice and we know this is very difficult. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a lifelong journey, the mental health awareness and being mindful in these moments. So talk to us about what's going to happen to this moment in the future if I start bringing peace to those moments.
Oh, friends, this is cyclical integration. So first of all, just taking 2 minutes to do a quick grounding exercise accesses it. It basically lights up and engages your gut brain. That's your second brain. Your enteric nervous system connected to your central nervous system. It's your second brain. So 2 hours of stress can be calmed and metabolized in just 2 minutes of grounding exercises. So the more that you do this, think about it. The first couple of times when you start doing grounding exercises, they seem long and arduous. But once you learn how to participate in re-regulating your nervous system, like practice and like any routine or ritual, you'll start to re-regulate quicker, faster, more often. So what happens is once you consciously participate in regulation, then you are retraining your gut brain and your head brain to be in communication. And that will begin to happen more often and faster below the level of consciousness. So you'll be able to start regulating faster without even bringing your conscious awareness to it.
Yeah. And I just, as someone who has had a journey through therapy, when I would be triggered, I would become aggressive, unfortunately. And that was 10 to 12 years ago. And because of therapy and because of exercises like this, today, I'm still triggered, right?
Yeah.
I still have those things that get to me. But to your point, it went from hours of being withdrawn and frustrated to a second because I'm able to move through it more quickly because I'm not in fight or flight, right?
Right. And so you're talking about, so when I love this, it's growth in systems theory. It's called first order change, where you just become better at doing something. But second order change, that's actually evolution. And it happens through neuroplasticity, epigenetics. We won't get into that here. But you actually evolve and become a more complex human, able to do new things quicker and faster because you reorganized your whole system. So even what you're talking about, Kai, is actually you participating in your own evolution in real time.
Absolutely. So let's talk about how I can include my family or a loved one or a partner in this exercise, because you're going to be at the holiday table, you're going to be celebrating and you're going to have these feelings. How do I signal maybe to a partner that, hey, I need to step away or I'm not doing so well?
Oh, this is huge. Okay, so friends, we're going to access our third brain, which is our heart brain. You have 40,000 neurons in your cardiac nervous system around your heart that are your relational attuner. That's exactly what Kai is talking about. When you start to, whether you start to notice yourself dysregulating or you're noticing a child, a partner, a sister, a friend, this is my most favorite thing. In the polyvagal theory, they call it polyvagal partnerships. We call
All these
them
fun words.
Isn't that fun? Who doesn't love a good alliteration, right?
Right.
And so to have a polyvagal partnership, meaning you start to have some type of, call it like a safe signal, if you will, and you're saying, hey, my nervous system is starting to dysregulate. It just means that your body is registering threat, whether it is actual or imaginary, okay? And so a safety signal, it could be anything. My husband and I, we kind of do the and this makes for bad radio, right? When I'm doing a hand signal and you can't see it. But I kind of do I kind of do I put my hand up in the air and I kind of wave it back and forth like, hey, it looks like it's saying I have an idea. But what I'm really saying is I need help. I need help. I'm dysregulating. I need to go step away for 2 minutes to 20 minutes. I am activated, as Kai said, and I need a moment to re-regulate. Or can you come over and help me regulate? And so we do a lot of 20-second hugs in our house. Whether it's, I'll make the sign, and my kids can actually tell when I'm activated. One of my daughters who's 15 with autism, and she's the most incredible human ever, the most empathetic human. And she'll come up to me and she'll say, Mom, do you need a 20-second hug to re-regulate? And it stops me in my tracks. A lot like Kai, I tend to be aggressive. My reactive patterns, I power up. And so when my daughter, and for the record, this is not my daughter's job to do this. It's my job to co-regulate her. And also because I have co-regulated my daughter so often, she returns the favor, and that's mutuality. And so when I watch her start to dysregulate, I'll go up to her and I'll go, hey, love, do you need a 20-second hug? And she'll say, yes, Mom. And so it's been so sweet to have her come up and start doing that with me. And so any type of safe signal, and then figuring out what types of co-regulation practices work with you and your loved one, with you and your child. Sometimes some deep pressure or 20-second hugs do not feel safe. You're going to have to find something else. We also have a ventral vagal playlist. Like one of my other daughters is not into hug, but she loves music. So whenever we have a signal, we'll say, hey, do you need to go listen to your ventral vagal playlist? And she'll go, yes.
I love that. So, the holidays, I think there's also a sense of perfection, right? The table needs to be perfect, the tree decorated if you have one. And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So talk to us about how we can shift our mind from, perfectionism to more being in that moment.
Well, first of all, we come from long centuries of histories of Western thought aimed at perfectionism. And part of that is recognizing that the underlying need to be perfect a lot of times comes from the need to not be in pain or suffering anymore. A lot of times we think of that, if it's perfect, then there won't be hurting. And so my encouragement is to shift what we would call your ultimate concern. Instead of perfection, look for wholeness making. Humans are neurobiologically, relationally wired for wholeness within ourselves and with each other. In fact, our greatest sense of power and value this is just plain neuroscience, comes from your felt sense of inherent value, which is connected to your felt sense of wholeness. So when you're setting the table, when you're cooking, when you're decorating the trees, when you're pulling the turkey out, instead of thinking, is this meal look perfect? Start thinking, is this facilitating a wholeness making experience for myself and for my loved ones gathered in this space?
I'm assuming that is a big yes. Most of the time, right?
Yes, you're already doing it. My great hope is to give you science and language for actually what you're already practicing and already doing, because our neurobiological bodies, we are bent in this direction. We crave wholeness making experiences. We just tend to mess them up with wanting them to be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we miss them because they can be so ordinary.
Right. It's going to go by so fast, right?
So fast. Yeah. So be looking and honestly, that is another way to manage stress. If you maybe even create a game in your house, we're going on a wholeness making scavenger hunt, and start to notice what types of things, what types of rituals, traditions, practices, moments can you go, this feels whole.
Yeah.
Not whole like a noun, but whole like a verb.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So awesome. Thank you so much. Those are some great tips and tricks to kind of add to our tool bag on how to help better regulate our nervous systems in those times. And I wanted to offer one more. We interviewed Danny's Dose, the founder of Danny's Dose, a few episodes ago about being prepared for emergencies. And just wanted to offer that is a form of regulating our nervous system when you can go into a situation being prepared, because we know a lot of our families are going to be traveling, and that's higher unpredictability, right? So just some key points to remember as you're traveling this season is keep a treatment authorization letter on hand at all times. Ensure your child's or your own medical ID is current and visible. Share your emergency medication plan with family, school staff, and caregivers that you'll be traveling with. Know your closest treatment facility, especially when traveling. And, you can talk to your EMS department in advance, if possible, about your condition and medications. And again, if you need help kind of sorting through those ideas and refreshing yourself, go back and listen to that episode with the founder of Danny's Dose. So
May I add to that real quick?
Absolutely, go for it.
When my daughter, we lived in and out of children's hospitals for 5 years, and one of our preparation tips was we had a hospital go bag at the ready, complete with fuzzy socks. You are in and out of medical facilities, urgent cares, emergency departments. Gosh, friends, keep a go bag at the ready and fill it with your favorite things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the last one I had made was in preparation of our child being born. So yeah. I know for a month there was a duffel bag right next to the door for that moment that it was going to happen. So absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. You've been so wonderful. I think as we kind of wrap up, what's your general reflection that you kind of want to share and like, what's a message of hope that can help families get through the holidays, having taken a break maybe?
Yeah, there's hope in every moment. Every moment is undetermined. Every moment there is hope for new possibility and a new reality. And so once you start noticing dysregulating, that as you start to re-regulate your nervous system and practice integration, that there is hope that arises from moments of wholeness and moments of safety. You don't need to live in a constant state, but there is hope in what we would call dynamic balance. So find the hope in the next moment. Look for the tiny things that you are grateful for, because where you place the energy in your mind is the reality that will start to be created for you and for your loved ones.
Fantastic. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This has been Boundless B, the Hemophilia B podcast, the podcast standing with you from a family like yours, presented by the Coalition for Hemophilia B and in partnership with Balancing Life's Issues. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. Happy holidays, friends.
Until next time, everybody, take care. This episode of Boundless B, the Hemophilia B podcast, presented by the Coalition for Hemophilia B, is made possible in part by the support of CSL. We thank CSL for their continued commitment to the bleeding disorders community.